Before we get started, we just want to let you know that we're happy to be offering simultaneous English-Spanish interpretation for this session. In 1 second after I give these same instructions in Spanish, Beatriz will turn on the setting. You're going to have to either click More or the globe icon on your toolbar to be able to access interpretation. You just select interpretation and then your language of preference. Also, all presenters, please be reminded to speak at a reasonable pace to help facilitate the interpretation. Nos complace mucho poder ofrecer un servicio de interpretación simultánea al español para esta sesión. En un momento, cuando se prenda la configuración, tienen que apretar los 3 puntitos donde dice More o quizás va a aparecer un globo terráqueo en su barra de herramientas. Al apretar ahí, navegan a interpretación y luego favor de seleccionar su idioma de preferencia. Gracias.
First, we want to welcome our amazing group of panelists. We are honored to have Resettlement Life in house. Yes, and also New Mexico Immigrant Law Center with Sonia Ramirez. So today is our last webinar, but that doesn't mean that we're gonna finish with one of the best topics of all. In this period of time, what better to say, emphasizing self-care for healthcare providers to prevent burnout. So thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you for having able to join us in former webinars. This is a mini series of 5, and we are very glad that you have been with us in those period of time. We also want to say thank you to our amazing interpreters, Naomi Todd Reyes and Ananelli. Also, nevertheless, we also had to say thank you to our person that is always helping us behind the scenes, from the mayor's office, Angelica Chuleta Romero. Well, with no further ado, I want to do a disclaimer. This presentation is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. For specific legal concerns or questions, please consult with a qualified attorney or a legal professional to ensure compliance with current laws and regulations. The City of Albuquerque and its partners are not responsible for any action taken based on the information in this presentation. Just for housekeeping, because it's always to be respectful and kind. Feel free also to type your questions in the Q&A section in the box that is going to be in English and in Spanish. And also, these questions will be answered in the Q&A section after the presentation. So give us some time, but don't forget to ask those questions. Spanish interpretation is available, so please take advantage of that. I want to introduce you to this amazing Office of Equity and Inclusion that is at the City of Albuquerque. It was created around 8 years ago. And the vision of the people in Albuquerque of all backgrounds are our greatest asset and have what they need to thrive. Our mission is to inspire and equip city government to make Albuquerque a national role model and a racial equity and social justice. And we are doing it beyond the book. And the goals of the Office of Equity and Inclusion are to develop a city workforce that is representative of all levels of the demographics of the city, increase local purchasing and businesses dealing with companies and owned by people of color, invest in areas of the city that have been underinvested, and ensure that the city delivers city services. We also have an amazing group of different offices that we call it population offices. My office, the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, is one of those population offices. This office precedes the Office of Equity and Inclusion. It is at about 10 years old, and our mission of this office is to improve the lives of all immigrants and resettled refugees who are living in Albuquerque. We always facilitate the successful integration of immigrant and refugees in Albuquerque's civic, economic, and cultural life. Also, in the part of economics, we celebrate diverse cultures of immigrants and refugees in their contributions to Albuquerque, and we advocate on behalf of these communities to promote citywide culture that understands and values the benefits that they bring to the society. Not only that, we have an amazing OIRA steering committee, and guess what? Resettlement Life, our presenters today are some of those members. They are amazing. So, in this OIRA steering committee, we really create an advisory group that advocates for the community strongly, and it has been doing it in all this period of time. The other offices that are inside the Office of Equity and Inclusion, I want to share that with you because it's important in this period of time that you know that we also have a Black Community Engagement Office, a Native American Affairs Office. We have a new office, Asian Pacific Islander Native Hawaiian Office, and Financial Empowerment, and finally also Civil Rights and Consumer Protection. So I invite you to check our website for more information about this. And now, with no further ado, but first, I want to introduce with a small bio to Ana Alderete from Resettlement Life. Ana Alderete is a licensed clinical social worker with over 13 years experience. She is the owner, clinical director, and psychotherapist at Resettlement Life. She is the Refugee Mental Health Coordinator for the Department of Health in the state of New Mexico. And her mission is to provide support, assistance, and empowerment to refugees, immigrant, and vulnerable underserved populations. With her, next to her, and I know you guys are sharing today the screen, is Ruby Gausin. Ruby holds a bachelor's degree in social work and served as a program manager at Resettlement Life, LLC. She's dedicated to working with immigrant families. Currently, she supports refugees, immigrants, and asylum seekers by providing mental health services at Resettlement Life. Please welcome our two amazing speakers today.
Thank you, Beatriz, for that warm welcome. We are so glad to be with you all and to be able to discuss this very critical topic for all of us, which is self-care in order to prevent burnout. Like Beatriz said, my name is Ana Alderete, and I am clinical director and psychotherapist at Resettlement Life. And I'm also the refugee health coordinator for the Department of Health. And this is
Ruby, program manager at Resettlement Life. Thank you for being here.
The title of this presentation is Self-Care, Preventing Burnout. We cannot escape or ignore the climate in our society currently, but we can definitely continue to care for ourselves and others. Today, we will be discussing radical self-care, collective care, and we will end with some exercises that you all can take with you and hopefully practice and teach your families, your friends, teams, and communities. And if we can go to the next slide, please. I would like to share this quote by Audre Lorde, who was a writer, professor, philosopher, poet, feminist, and civil rights activist who advocated and addressed injustices of racism, sexism, classism, and homophobia. She stated, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare."
Okay, so let's define radical self-care. Radical self-care is one concept that emphasizes prioritizing one's own well-being and taking proactive steps to protect and nurture oneself, especially in the face of societal pressures and systemic inequalities. It goes beyond traditional notions on self-care by addressing the root causes of stress, trauma, and oppression. So radical self-care shifts the conversation from occasional pampering to intentional meaning practices that protect our well-being. It emphasizes the connection between personal care and resisting systemic pressures. This understanding opens the door to exploring practical ways people integrate radical self-care into their lives.
Okay, so now we're going to discuss some principles of radical self-care, which include challenging, prioritizing, addressing, embracing, and restoring. So challenging societal norms, right? Rejecting expectations that may be harmful and or limiting. Prioritizing self, putting one's own needs first without guilt or shame. Addressing systemic inequalities, recognizing and confronting the ways in which social structures impacts one's well-being. Embracing vulnerability, allowing oneself to feel and express emotions without judgment. Here, something that we practice at Resettlement Life is that we say it constantly. We say it pretty much every single day, several times a day, is that we laugh and we cry together. So just embracing vulnerability, right? We are in a very tough time in our society. Restoring balance, finding ways to disconnect from stress and nurture one's physical, mental, and emotional health.
So practices of radical self. Self-care becomes truly radical when it addresses both our inner needs and external pressures we face. It's about making conscious decisions that support healing, joy, and resilience. So here are some practical ways you can put radical self-care into action. Those will be setting boundaries, establishing clear limits on what one is willing to do and unwilling to do. Disconnecting from toxic people, cutting ties with individuals, situations that drain your energy or cause harm. Engaging in self-reflection, examining one's beliefs, patterns, behaviors to identify areas for growth, seeking support, reaching out to friends, family, therapists, or support groups for encouragement and guidance, practicing mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment and accepting one's experiences without judgment, taking time for pleasure, engaging in activities that bring joy and relaxation regardless societal expectations, advocating for change, working to dismantle oppressive systems and create a more equitable world. Okay, so now we're gonna watch a video on radical self-care featuring Angela Davis, who is a political activist, philosopher, academic, and author. And it's a 7-minute video.
Anyone who's interested in making change in the world also has to learn how to take care of herself, himself, their selves. For a long time, activists did not necessarily think that it mattered to take care of themselves in terms of what they eat, in terms of mental self-care, corporal self-care, spiritual self-care. I know that there were some people who emphasized it. I'm thinking about one of the leaders of the Black Panther Party, Erica Huggins, who began to practice yoga and meditation in the 70s, and she encouraged many people, including Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, to join that practice. I think they did a little bit of it, but I think our movement would have been very different had we understood the importance of that kind of self-care. Personally, I started practicing yoga and meditation when I was in jail, but it was more of an individual practice. Later, I had to recognize the importance of emphasizing the collective character of that work on the self. Well, it means that we're able to bring our entire selves into the movement. It means that we incorporate into our work as activists ways of acknowledging and hopefully also moving beyond trauma. It means a holistic approach, I think. I think longevity is important, and not simply individual longevity. It is equally important to recognize that as we develop our movement today, we're creating a terrain for the emergence of new activists. And what we do today has an impact on what younger people will be able to do tomorrow. I think we have to imagine ourselves as connected to people who came before us and to those who will come after us. Black people all over the world have been subjected to the most unimaginable forms of violence, slavery, torture. But at the same time, and this is what Black people have offered the world, we've also produced beauty, music, and art. And I think that the self-care that gets produced by Black people recognizes the connection between struggle and art and beauty and the imagination. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous not to recognize that as we struggle, we're attempting to presage the world to come. And the world to come should be one in which we acknowledge the collectivity and connections and relations and joy. And if we don't start practicing collective self-care now, there's no way to imagine, much less reach a time of freedom.
So now let's discuss collective care. Radical self-care and collective care are intertwined. If we don't take care of ourselves first, we are unable to take care of others the way that we would like to. Let's say, for example, let's say that Ruby came to me with a glass because she saw me that I had a water pitcher. And with all my heart, I want to give her some water because I can see that she's thirsty. But I'm unable to because I don't have any water in my pitcher to give her. So moral of the story, right? We can't give what we don't have. And so we must fill ourselves up first with love, with care, with kindness in order to give that to others and create and be part of collective care, which collective care is creating spaces for shared pain and healing. And we do that by active listening, checking in on our colleagues and assisting with difficult tasks as able. We are all very busy, but we are able to at least ask each other, how we're doing. If there's anything that we can help, we should try to, assist when we can. Encourage each other to take breaks, encourage each other to engage in self-care, engaging with each other with empathy and with kindness, while practicing radical acceptance, which is accepting things that we can and cannot control. And we do this by not judging ourselves and others. So now we will watch a video also on collective care.
I'm ready to share that one too, if you want.
Yes, please, that would be great. And this is called Resisting Burnout with Justice Doing, Collective Care and Ethical Pain.
When I think about burnout, I'm very worried that we're using the language of burnout in a sector that's so underfunded, so overwhelmed, and so overworked. And how convenient is it to talk about our workers and ourselves as if we're burned out as opposed to under-resourced? And it's not just a lack of resources. It's also the kind of stuff that you're up against. This is heartbreaking work. And, you know, if I were to give you a scale, a vicarious trauma scale, don't do this, but if you went on the web and found a vicarious trauma scale, you'd all be taking time off because you're done. You're fatigued. And, you know, what that does is it looks at kind of our mental health. It measures our mental health about whether or not we can do this work based on our mental health. And I can tell you from many domains of practice, but particularly situating it within the opiate epidemic or the poisoning or the political killings, like however you understand that whole thing, there are many, many peer workers. The first responders are the peers, right? We know that, right? They're the people living in tents. They're the people's neighbors, people who are checking tents to see if everybody's alive, if everybody's well. I mean, those first responders, I've met with them in terms of resisting burnout and trying to keep them alive in this work. Some of them are working at the tent. They work for $20 for a whole shift, and they might do 4 overdose overturns in those hours that they're there, and then they come back the next day, and they just keep coming back. I asked them, why are you here, and why do you keep coming back? And what they told me, it was a circle of about 20 of them, they all said kind of, Dr. Reynolds, we don't understand your question. How could we not come back? This is us. These are our people. This is who we are, right? And so I think, you know, if I were to give them vicarious trauma scales, they wouldn't measure well. If I was how they're doing in their lives, they're unhoused. Some of them are using substances. Their lives are shaky. And many of them tell me the best place for them to be is at work. They feel most useful while they're at work in this epidemic. That they can't take a day off. That is soul crushing to them. You know, that what they want to do is to be there and be of use to others, and that's how they're staying alive in this epidemic. And I think we want to be very careful, and Indigenous elder taught me this, we want to be very careful about judging very oppressed people's responses to oppression, what they feel they need to do to resist oppression. What these folks want to do is show up. And so the measure for me is not how mentally well the workers are doing, it's how are we treating people. When we're working to try to deliver justice, and we can't, that's where we start to feel that we're unethical. I think that's where the harm comes in our work. And the way that I think about that is, it's not burnout, it's spiritual pain or ethical pain. When you feel that, if we feel that what we're doing is ethical, we can be sustained even though our hearts are broken. But if we believe that what we're doing is unethical, that's the stuff that's going to cause harm. So I think burnout and vicarious trauma, which are kind of based on the idea that clients are bringing us too much that we can't handle, I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is we're in structures that are oppressive, and we're trying to stay alive in that, and our hearts are broken, and we need to deliver justice to people, and that is a massively hard task that we've all signed up for, right? So that's kind of, so what I'm interested in is not so much how our workers, what are their symptoms of trauma. What I want to know when you come to work is, how are you treating people? How are we treating each other collectively really matters to me. How is the team with each other? And how are we serving people? What's our collective care? Collective care means we have to allow each other to take our lunch, to have a break, to go home on time, and to take our sick time. It sounds kind of common sense, but we're not doing it. And the other thing about that, just kind of jumping ahead to collective care, if you're the person people are looking to as the manager, and what you're modeling is, I never take sick days, I never miss work, and I come in here dying, everybody's looking up to you. What are we actually saying about collective care? And there are times, I know for all of us, we can't take a sick day, I get that, but we want to make sure that we're not actually slipping into some kind of heroic posturing around that, because everybody's watching us, right? So I just think that's really important. But as managers, we never want to patronize people when they come to us with issues of injustice and start to frame it in a "you're going to burn out" dialogue and "what's your self-care." We don't want to interrogate people's self-care when what they're talking about is oppression, when what they're talking about is harms we need to be collectively accountable for. It's an invitation to responsibility, right? And so as soon as it turns on to an interrogation of people's self-care, I believe that we're actually participating in something that's not a just way to be with people, right? So and self-care is very important. So I don't want to fear not, I'm not going to teach you how to breathe now or touch your toes or anything. But because that's always the worry. You're like, oh God, she's going to make me go to my happy place. Those are all great things. I've done them. I think those are all great strategies. But trust that your team has those. It would be okay to have conversations with the team where people share strategies. That's super cool. But it's patronizing to try to teach people that, I think. Self-care is important, and here's why I think it's important from a social justice and client-centered way. Self-care is important so that the client can stay at the center. And my life history is here to qualify me, not to get into the center. Self-care is so that I can do that, create that space for the client to be in the center, right? It's not so that I can suck up oppression. It's so that I can actually be client-centered, right? So I believe self-care is an ethical requirement. I want to be really clear about that. The folks that you are trying to shoulder up, the workers and the people that they're trying to serve, you know, if we get harmed in this work, we are not blaming that on our clients, right? It's our job to be well enough in the work. And whose job is it to bring hope to the community work that we do? It's our job to be the bringers of hope. That's an ethical responsibility of ours. We can't claim that our clients are infecting us with hopelessness or taking our hope. That's not their job. Their job is to try to stay alive one more day, one foot in front of the other. It's our job to, what I'm interested in is our collective care, our solidarity with each other, and our path of justice doing. That's the stuff that can keep us alive in the work.
Okay, so now we're going to do some exercises, like I said, that you guys can take with you all. And we encourage you all to, we can't see you, but we encourage you all to participate and really engage in these exercises.
Yes. So the first exercise we have, it's deep breathing. This exercise is about inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4, and resting for 4. And you can repeat as many times as you like. And this exercise, it's good when you're feeling stressed or anxious. So we're gonna do a demonstration. I'm gonna ask Anna if she can, help me with this demonstration.
Of course.
So I'm gonna be counting, and Anna's gonna be doing the inhaling, holding, exhaling, and rest. Okay? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And the next one is a grounding exercise. I will say this exercise is good to practice when you're gonna do like you're in a high pressure situation, for example, like a presentation, a meeting, an exam. It will like increase your focus and some composure. Also, after like an emotional trigger or conflict, it helps you regain balance and respond rather than react. Also, when you're feeling disconnected or zoned out, useful if you're feeling spaced out and disconnected from your body. So I'm going to ask Anna if she can help me again. It's about 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can see. So it's about using your 5 senses. Okay. So Anna, okay, if you can tell me 5 things you can see.
All right.
I use this room as an example.
Okay. So I see the wall, which is like a yellowish brownish color. I see the texture on the wall. I see the blinds that are like a tan color. I see the orangey couch. That's 4.
4.
It's 4. Okay, one
Yes.
more. And then I see a purple book over there. Okay.
I see it. Okay. So 4 things you can hear.
Okay. Let's see. I hear the air conditioner or the heater. I hear like like the wind from the outside, like cars passing by.
Yeah.
I just heard a car.
Yeah. So the wind in the car.
The wind in the car. Yeah.
One more.
And I don't think
one.
that's a hard
It's
one.
a
I don't
hard
know.
one.
Yeah, I don't know if I can hear anything else.
So it doesn't have to strictly be for just letting you guys know, but
As
just to
much.
kind of be, yeah, as much as you can.
Yeah.
So let's see. 3 things you can feel.
All right. So I feel that the temperature of the room is comfortable. It's neither hot nor cold. I feel the chair which I'm sitting on, it's comfy because it's soft. And I feel comfortable in my clothes because it's soft and just comfortable.
And it's Friday.
And
So
it-
you have to be comfortable on
Yeah.
Fridays. Okay, so 2 things you can smell.
I smell my plants. I smell the little candy that I ate a little while ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lemon.
The lemony.
The
Yeah.
lemon.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And one thing you can taste.
The
Which I'm
lemony.
thinking-
The lemon.
The same?
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you, Anna.
Thank you. All right. Well, last but not least, we're going to do a somatic exercise for tension and trauma release, which is called the shake, shake, shake. This one's actually my favorite. This exercise helps to calm the nervous system and improve self-regulation. Somatic exercises are body focused, which help release trauma-related tension in the body, and it emphasizes awareness of our bodily sensations. So I encourage you again all to participate. Laugh if you need to because it is kind of funny. We're going to be shaking. So just like the tiger that you see, that's what we're going to be doing. So Ruby, will you help me?
Yes.
Okay.
And everyone needs to.
Everybody, come on. You guys
We
too. Even though we can't see
We
you.
can feel you.
So we're going to start with the shake, shake, shake. So we're going to start with our wrist, is what I like to say. So we're going to just kind of shake our wrist a little bit. We're going to go ahead and take a deep breath in.
Can you guys see us?
All right. Then we're going to start with our knees shaking at the same time as our shaking of our hands. All right. And I kind of want you guys just to kind of start noticing your body. What is it that you feel? Where is it that you feel any tension? Go ahead and continue. Okay. Well, I talk. Maybe it is that you're feeling tension here, maybe in your arms, maybe in your legs. I don't know. Let's just notice without judgment. Okay. So now for the funny part or the fun part, we are going to shake to the next 5 seconds really hard as you can. We're going to pretend that we're going to shake up all the water just like the tiger. So go ahead for the next 5 seconds. Ready, Ruby? For
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. That's a little part of that shake, shake, shake exercise. But when I do this with clients, we do it until they feel like they've released the tension. If they tell me, you know what, I've been feeling tension in my shoulder, in my back, wherever it is, we do it until they no longer feel, or until they feel like they're ready. But that's it for us. Anybody have any questions or comments?
That was awesome. Thank you. I will definitely be using the shake, shake, shake on a regular basis, I'm sure. That's a new one for me.
And I hope that you guys did it with us.
I sure did.
Yeah. Good.
I don't know if you could see me come on camera or not, but I totally did. And you guys, we could see you too perfectly.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect.
Yay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the Q&A open. I don't see that anybody has submitted anything just yet.
Okay. Yeah.
you also have these amazing resources that you share with the people.
Yes, those are the resources that we used for our presentation. But if ever you guys, we have a awesome flyer pamphlet that Ruby made with these exercises that we just went over. So if you guys want a copy of that, we can also send it to you all. And it explains just the exercises that we just did.
Thank you so much, Ruby and Anna. And we're going to continue now with some other parts of the presentation. We just want to chat about other type of resources that are not specifically with self-care, but in somehow they are, because information is a way to empower ourselves as well. We have red cards and we know our rights. We are able to empower ourselves. So we have available red cards online and here in the Office of Equity and Inclusion for community members and in many other places. If you want some of these in multiple languages, we have it available. We also have other resources available in our website. There are local resources. There are multiple local organizations who have information that help immigrants and refugees, and also some national resources that you can explore in your own time. There is so many things available that sometimes we can be bombarded with information, but at the same time, it could be very helpful to all of us. And the other part is for the part of the questions and answers, we have these wonderful human beings, and also I'm gonna call Sonia Ramirez from New Mexico Immigrant Law Center, who is here with us today. I just want to introduce her. Sonia Ramirez is a bilingual Spanish-English licensed clinical social worker and first-generation daughter of immigrants. She's dedicated to helping families feel welcome, empowered, and connected by guiding them in navigating community resources and linking them with medical and behavioral health providers, ensuring that they have the support they need for their well-being. Thank you so much, Sonia, for being here with us and talking about the topic of self-care and also refugees or immigrants. How do you, like you just mentioned, even in your biography, how do you work with behavioral health agencies and being able to work together with immigrant or refugee families who can experience some type of stress? What is the process of referral that you do to these organizations?
Yeah, Ruby, would you like to talk a little bit about how we refer out to other agencies as far as like case management or?
Well, it depends on what the client's looking for. So yeah, if they're needing like immigration services and I don't think I have the knowledge, I will refer them mostly to New Mexico Immigrant Law Center. That's where we kind of referred the clients.
Yeah, and I mean we do a lot of networking and collaboration with a lot of the agencies like UBNR, Centro Savila, right? And we work collaboratively. If there's a client that may be better suited for another agency, then we reach out to that agency. We either by phone or if they have a referral form, then we complete that, and vice versa. They can reach out to us, and either by phone, same way, they can reach us phone, email, send the referral, fax. I don't know if that answered the question, but.
Yeah, and I can add it about NMLIC. I really like the video you showed about how it's important to also take care of staff. And I think at NMLIC, our team does a really great job of making sure that everybody's well-being comes first, because if we're able to keep doing this work, we can help more people. So at NMLIC, we actually have a vicarious trauma support group that does wellness activities for our staff, which can include like doing like a meditation day, or it can include going for a walk, or we always try to include, especially when we do have a longer staff meeting to have those breaks and those times to reconnect as a team. And so that's one way that we ensure that we can continue bringing that hope to our clients and continue to be that support for them is by making sure everybody feels supported and working collaboratively. And in terms for our clients, we help them throughout the whole process, first determining like, what is your immigration status? What is your legal case looking like right now? Do you qualify for Medicaid or for another healthcare coverage? So as for example, as soon as one of our company children becomes eligible for Medicaid when they receive their I-360 receipt, we follow up with them with the Medicaid packet and also follow up to see if they need additional support. And that's one way that we can get families connected to mental health services and other services. When a client isn't eligible for those services, we do look for community partners, like mentioned, like Centro Savila for direct referral. However, we also do realize that there is a lot of need, right? So making sure like how long is this client going to wait? Can we also refer to a different partner? And looking for agencies, a lot of healthcare, the healthcare community, behavioral healthcare community really cares about our clients and also realizes that they don't have access to medical care. So a lot of them will provide pro bono. Also for our clients, which is amazing. And I'm so thankful for that. And when those options aren't available, we also look for other ways of like, does this client qualify for human trafficking stabilization funds? Are they a survivor of a crime? Can we ask for funds there so they can get mental health resources? So we really try to look at the whole picture and also the whole family, like how can we get the parents and the children help? And even sometimes it's connecting them with the resources that they do have at their school. So that's a little bit of how we navigate that, but it's definitely a case-by-case basis and like where they're located and the family situation is. But we try to find all the options that's available to the family. Another group actually that we work with is the Refugee and Immigrant Wellbeing Project, which is going to be starting soon. And they do weekly learning circles where they bring topics such as mental health to the group and also helps connect the families that are participating in the Refugee and Immigrant Wellbeing Project to different resources in the community, including behavioral health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonia. I have another question for Sonia, for Anna and Ruby. In this moment where families feel in the age, how do you are able to work with families who are suffering deportation or they are fearful of deportation? Is there any like group activities or what is the strategy that you as behavioral health specialists use to be able to alleviate that type of fear in our communities?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things is making sure that they feel supported by their community, right? If they feel supported by their surroundings, I think that makes a big difference. So making sure that they can identify who their support systems are, including family, friends, providers. We are, as far as like here at Resettlement Life, if a client is having an emergency or panicking, right, they are encouraged to always call, always call. And we either have a session online or they can come here, right? We're always available. And we can always usually fit them into the schedule if it's an emergency. And so, you know, that collective care, like we talked about, right? Making sure that they do know who they can contact, what resources they have at that time, what supports they have, right? Where they can go, right? Where do they feel safe? So it's like a combination of, you know, different parts of life, right? Social, emotional.
Thank you so much for your answers. There is also something that I'm just thinking about it because that's something that the community members mentioned. What type of support both of your agencies, Resettlement Life and New Mexico Immigrant Law Center, having connection, for example, with K-12 or with the university students that are connected with behavioral health, self-care? In this moment, there is a lot of people who have told me firsthand they are having secondhand stress. Not necessarily they are having the situation, but people around them, they have it. Like many healthcare providers, like in this case, that these webinars is our target population, are experiencing that because they see how community members are feeling. So I'm just opening up to you.
Well, as far as Sonia, I don't know if you wanted to go first or but as far as like, you know, staff and teams, we're always available, right? Like talking about providers and feeling that second hand trauma or that stress, right? That vicarious stress or trauma is, again, right? Being able to provide, like Sonia explained, right? That's beautiful how you guys are able to come together as a team and ensure, you know, your guys' well-being. I think that's important as a community, not just in our agencies. And I think this is why this is important, right? To be able to reach out to other agencies, other communities, the providers that we work with. And we also provide decompression sessions, right, to staff, to other teams, like if New Mexico Immigrant Law Center wanted us to come to one of their meetings, right, we would be honored to, right? And we do that. We go to different agencies, we do exercises that, you know, that they can do for themselves or with others to share, right? And I think this is important, right, to be able to teach and do these things together. And the more that we know, the more that we can collaborate, the more that we can do it as a community, you know, the more support.
Do you want to say anything, Sonia?
Um, yes, I can add. Yeah, I think I mentioned a lot of the programs that we do have available in terms of like university students. I think the connection we have is with the RIWP program. So making sure that, for example, I went to go present at the Refugee and Immigrant Wellbeing Project class on Tuesday on mental health and also taking care of themselves. And they also mentioned how in in the US it's very common to go and not stop, and it's very like shamed when you do need a break, and how it's not always possible because if you take a whole day break, then you're behind on your schoolwork or you're behind on things that you need to do for your family, right? So really encouraging that self-care becomes part of the routine and that it's something that we're routinely doing, right, to prevent rather than try to fix burnout or try to heal burnout, right? That takes a lot more effort than preventing. So really taking a preventative approach and also normalizing that we all need self-care. We're all humans. And I think also NMLIC really puts us first as like staff, as family members. Like they don't only see us as staff, but as a family member, as a caretaker in our communities, as where a lot of us are first generation or we are immigrants. So also recognizing that a lot of the experiences that our clients are experiencing are our experiences, are our stories as well. Yeah, and I think always taking a community and collective approach to healing, to holding, to providing those spaces to express how we are feeling and to also inform, because I think a lot of things that we might hear might be true or might not be true or might just be in the process of something. So being able to provide accurate information is also very comforting to our clients and also our staff. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want like some final words of encouraging people to do self-care from three of you. So who wants to start? Just few words to encourage people to do this in a daily basis so they can really being able to have the strength to continue and moving forward and being able to also bring that energy to their clients, their patients, or people around them.
I think what I would say is that we love what we do, right? I know we all love what we do. We all are motivated and dedicated to help others. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, right? But like I said earlier, in order to continue to be able to do this and do it in the way that we want to, right? Do it with the love that we want to, do it with the kindness that we want to. The only way that can be done is if we take care of ourselves first.
Thank you. I can add as well. I think just encouraging everyone to reach out if you need any support, to look for support, that you don't have to do it alone or self-care alone. I think in community it's done best. And I know some ways that I'll incorporate it is sometimes if we do have a team meeting, it's like, okay, let's go for a coffee. Let's connect as human beings, and adding that into the work routine as well, but also like being able to disconnect from work and go to walks, maybe like go to a walk without your phone, with someone, of course, and disconnect and be able to be present for yourself, doing things that you enjoy, listening to music you enjoy, trying to find those moments of joy in your day.
Yeah, so I agree with both of you. I think I used to like just care more about my clients than myself. I would just work and work. And I noticed that I was just forgetting about myself, So, and I was like, I need to, take care of myself so I can provide the best services to my clients. So yeah, I started focusing more on my self-care. And I noticed that everything changed, like I was able to, change more lives, more, more things. I was able to provide more resources for my clients, and collaborate more with other agencies. And yeah, and it's still, have time to take care of myself. So yes.
Thank you so much to Anna, Ruby, and Sonia for your amazing words of inspiration. And that gets us to the last minutes of the webinar. Well, we already completed the mini series. Today is the last webinar, but that doesn't mean that is the less important. It's actually very, very important to self-care of ourselves. And I want to thank every one of you for being so supportive in the planning of these webinars during the period of time that they took place and also in this moment in time. And again, all this effort would have not been ever been possible without the amazing work and collaboration of everybody who you can see in this list. Was New Mexico Department of Health, and I know Karen Gonzalez is listening to us. The Health Equity Council with Enrique Cardiel, Bernalillo County with Kathy Sanchez, UNM Hospital with Liz Delgado, El Centro de Igualdad de Derechos with Rachel and Fabiola, Resettlement Life with Ana Alderete and Ruby Gaucin, Consulado Mexicano with many members, even Monica Munquinto, New Mexico Immigrant Law Center with Sonia Ramirez and with Hallie that came here also to join us time back. Encuentro with Ilse Grijalba, Lutheran Family Services with Mustafa, Albuquerque Public Schools with Antonio Baca, and of course, the Office of Equity and Inclusion, that with all the members, our director, Sonia Lara, Deputy Director, Dr. Nina Cooper, and many of my co-workers who participated. And of course, the mayor's office, here is the logo, one Albuquerque in red and black, with Angelica. Angelica, please show your face, don't hide. Our amazing interpreters, Naomi and Annalie. Come on, everybody in camera to say goodbye and thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Said this is what do you call the song says? The ultimate countdown or the last countdown? Countdown. Okay, something like that. Like rock stars. Thank you so much, and until the next time, have a wonderful day, everyone.